Hey guys, my name is Hollie Fowler and behind us is MischiefMakerJKU. This is my Jeep and today I'm going to be telling you a little bit about what this is made of and how we both started. So before I had even purchased Mischief Maker behind me, I was in real estate on Long Island in New York, and my lease was coming up on my Jeep Grand Cherokee, and I wanted to have like a little bit of a playful car. So looked at the Jeep Wranglers. I had no idea what they were capable of whatsoever. It wasn't until Walter, my husband, showed me on YouTube what they're capable of. Thought he was out of his mind. I was just looking for a daily, but we found an off-roading school in the Northeast, and I went there, and then after that one lesson I got hooked and ended up going to a local off-road park pretty much every single weekend, and that's where it all began. I mean, I was wheeling with groups of guys in their 60s who have been doing this for years, and just with talking to them, they would tell me, you know, maybe you should think about getting bigger axles, your tires should be a little bigger. So we started doing a little bit of homework, and this one has actually been through 4 different builds within about a year and a half. So when I arrived at EJS, I had never been to Moab or Utah or anywhere like that before. It was the first time over on the West Coast, and the first time with, you know, over in that terrain. I'm so used to sort of mud and rocks and slick rocks and kind of slate rocks. And this was like super, it was kind of like sandpaper, so there was a lot of traction there. And I had just got my Mickey Thompson Baja Pro X's on there and had never wheeled with them before. So coming from a completely different tire to this, to a sticky especially, I was really surprised at my capability for the first time. And I had never wheeled anything that looked so dramatic before. It was a little intimidating. Hopefully I didn't show it too much. I think the one day that really stood out to me was Pritchett Canyon. We had a meeting the night before, and Tony Pellegrino and Nick Ashby both said, you know, if you're scared, if you're second guessing yourself, do not come. Jump in someone else's rig, do not bring your rig. And I have to say there was like this much of me that was like, oh, maybe I should. And then I was like, nah, let's just go for it. All right, so let me take you through what Mischief Maker is made of and what is on here. So I do run the KMC Robbie Gordon wheels. Now I did have them mostly painted the same color as my cage, but as you can see, they've withheld a lot of damage. Really enjoyed having these. They're a very good looking wheel. Mounted on the KMCs are the Mickey Thompson Baja Pro X stickies. These have been fantastic. These ones are starting to round off really nice now, and they perform brilliantly. It doesn't matter where we are. It doesn't matter East Coast, West Coast. They just work really well. So with Mischief Maker being around 7,200 pounds and having the 43 stickies on here, you know, when we're on that trail and we're going, it needs to be able to stop. So we are running the R1 Concepts rotors and brake pads in here. Moving on to the Fusion 4x4 axles. I have a Kingpin in the front, so a Dana 60 in the front and a Dana 80 in the back. I really went big. I broke both axles in a rock garden, and the Jeep was out of commission for about 5 to 6 months, and I just never wanted that to happen again. I didn't want to break an axle. The setup that I have, I'm very happy with. I've put it through a lot, and they've just withheld everything that I've put it through. So for steering, with having such a large, heavy vehicle, I really needed something to help me move those stickies again. It's all about the stickies. It always comes back to them. So I'm running the PSC Big Bore XL Hydro Assist steering. I run the TerraFlex Alpine Long Arms. I have the King shocks. I have the front coilover and bypass. They're 12-inch, and in the rear they're 14-inch coilovers. With the suspension in the back and the coilovers, especially in the back, we're going to be shifting things around a little bit because the arms are kind of hanging a little low and I keep bashing everything. So the suspension is going to change a little bit just because I've grown into that next level of wheeling, if you will, but gotten over some obstacles that I never thought I would be able to do just because of the suspension, and the articulation is pretty outstanding. So the drive shafts that I run in Mischief Maker are Tom Woods, just heavy duty drive shafts. In Mischief Maker also is the Atlas 2-speed transfer case, and the ratio is 5:1. So it's really low. This vehicle is made to crawl. Putting it into low range is incredible. Going downhill, going up vertical hills, it just crawls. I haven't touched the engine. I don't think I ever will touch the engine. There's just no need to with the transfer case. So one thing Mischief Maker really does need is armor. And I have been running genright armor throughout this whole vehicle. And let me tell you, it has been absolutely amazing. Every piece has done its job. I didn't understand at the beginning why we needed the rash guards on, but they have taken an absolute beating, and actually probably they've taken the most beating out of all the armor that I have. You can probably see I catch on the rear fenders a lot. That's my favorite place to scratch all that beautiful Chief Blue paint off. So the aluminum, I didn't realize just how strong it was. It's never buckled in, it's never ripped off. So it really is the perfect armor for Mischief Maker and what we do. I did get the genright cage. Now it is the genright cage up until the center, and then we actually modified the back of it. We deleted the back seat. We decided to just get rid of that and make more room for ourselves. And then we just designed the back of it. We kind of wanted it to look a little bit like a racer, more like a truck at the back. So we kind of designed that racer back look. Everyone always asks what cage we have. It's a genright cage, but it's a genright cage with a little bit of a Fowler twist on it. So what I run are the Artec skid plates. They're aluminum, and they have completely surprised me. I definitely highly recommend Artec. Mischief Maker is running a worn winch. We definitely need something that is very strong. I needed something that could hold the 7,200 pounds that Mischief Maker is. And on the front of it, I do have the Factor 55 flat link. I don't ever like to say no to an obstacle. It doesn't matter how gnarly it looks, I will do it. If I can't make it, I have that reassurance that Warren can get me out. So it's kind of like my safety blanket, if you will. I am running the Baja Design lights. I have the ambers and I have the small pods up here on the frame as well. They cut through everything. It was like night and day. It was pretty incredible. I have the K&N filter that I'm running. I actually switched that out after the King of the Hammers this year, and it was disgusting. But with all the products that they have, it was super easy to clean. It was done and dusted in no time at all. I am powered by Odyssey battery. The vehicle starts up every single time, never had anything wrong that way. And I do use my winch a lot, whether it's winching myself out or helping someone else out of a sticky situation. And it's just nice to know that that power is always there and I never have to worry about it. The S Pod, I have the Bantam version. It's a great product. I'm always using my lockers. I also have all of my lights. I have a couple of seat warmers on there. I obviously love to get footage of everything. So the mounts that we use are scosche. They are very powerful. Once you stick something on there, once you stick your camera up there, it's not coming off. I mean, I have definitely tried. I have rammed this vehicle up some obstacles pretty hard and nothing has moved at all. I also love the handlebars, the grab handlebars that we have here. I actually added a third one in the middle so that I was able to grab onto the middle, because I kept grabbing onto the actual cage when going up some steep obstacles, and just decided to kind of put that there. And that's actually probably one of my favorite things in the Jeep out of everything, which is really strange, but it just makes me feel very safe. They don't move whatsoever. So also on Mischief Maker's cage, you'll see these kind of weird looking pod things. They're DS18 sound pods, and they're actually made for speedboats and boats. So being out in the rain is absolutely no problem. There's nothing wrong with the system at all. And now I can actually hear music on the trails, which is pretty cool. We went with PRP for both the seats and the harnesses, and we actually run the Enduro seats. They're the most comfortable. You can design your own. These have, you know, been rained on, there's been mud on them. They're super easy to clean. I feel a lot safer with the 5-point, just for me and my level of wheeling. I have the Arb Dual Air System, but I also have the power tank. As you can see, it lays horizontally on the back. Now, you can use it like that, but it has to have a snorkel inside. Otherwise, it ends up freezing up on you and then you can't use it. I use the power tank to air up my tires, and they air up pretty quickly. I can air up my tires, all 4 of them, bearing in mind they're 43 stickies, probably in under 5 minutes. For goodness sake. All right. I don't think anyone really knew or had any idea, including myself, that I was gonna just keep on doing this and do harder stuff and harder trails and obstacles. So the build itself has been absolutely solid, not really had a problem with it whatsoever. But now I am taking on bigger things. And with that, there's just a couple of tweaks that I want to do. There's a couple of modifications that I want to get done, just so that it enables me to take on those harder obstacles and trails in the future. So this year I do have some goals that I've set for myself. One being the back door in Johnson Valley. I have tried it twice now and I have not been able to get up. There are a number of trails that I've heard of in Johnson Valley that I do want to take on. We're trying to find, you know, that next level of trail, those next level obstacles to do, because they're definitely out there. Even in the places where you don't expect them most, you can always find something that's pretty incredible. And I think what we're doing now is we're finding that, you know, there are trails for Jeeps, but then there are also buggy lines, and that's kind of what we're progressing into. Even although he is not a buggy whatsoever, I know that he can do some of those lines and some of those obstacles. So that's kind of where we're at now. We're kind of progressing kind of at a quicker pace than I thought, but it's all fun. Well, it's been awesome talking about Mischief Maker and the build and walking through it with you guys. And honestly, I'm really looking forward to some more gnarly stuff this year. So if you guys want to follow myself and Mischief Maker, you can find us at Mischief Maker TV. So I do a daily vlog. Definitely go check that out. It's pretty cool. Not only do you see like us wheeling together and with the RockstarGarage and a light bright and bleeping Jeep, but you also get to see our daily lives. And definitely follow us on Instagram. It's just MischiefMakerJKU. And check us out on this channel. We have a bunch of wheeling stuff. That's how you do it.
Beautiful.